or when I was in between jobs.
Hold off.
What?
Is Joe's gonna be?
It's gonna be better than both of yours.
No, is it Joe's is a big bit? Joe, big huzzah!
No. Steve's good enough. He's smart enough, and doggone it, people like him. And a fish called Jimbo. All this week on
Jim Joe Steve Show.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of Jim Joe Steve Show. Something cheeky at the beginning. My name's Joe.
I'm Steve.
I'm Jim.
I just realized that we are recording this, and I picked my nose.
That may or may
So
not.
Jim,
make the
at
reels.
1 minute and 6 seconds of this video, I picked my nose.
Yeah,
Awesome.
perfect.
See what happens.
Yeah. How you guys doing?
I'm good. How about you guys?
I'm good.
Good. So I got two bits. All right, you ready for them? Since we're doing video now, I think our viewers.
Show him that butthole, Steve.
Remember the time I peed on it?
It's always been a fantasy of mine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, one we talked about in a previous episode. Kick the field goal.
Right.
Okay, so maybe we can do a quick, not necessarily to put the money on it, but what do you think would be the yards that you could kick one? Like, what's the furthest distance you could kick one? Being the goal line being 10 yards, right? So
Yeah, I'd say I could probably make one through the uprights from like the 20-yard line.
a 30-yard field goal.
I think so.
That's what I was going to say, but I'm going to have to one up you. So I'll say 35. And the second, Steve, you're already shaking your head. I don't think.
Oh, I did the punt, pass, and kick thing at Raven Stadium, and I know how far I can kick one.
How far?
Oh, not 10 yards. I can't get the ball up high enough.
Oh, really?
Yes, it is very difficult to get the ball up. When you kick it off the tee, it is very tough.
I think I might kick it. Well, I'm definitely kicking it like front.
So are you going to do
Can I
it?
kick it soccer style?
So let me ask this, because I'm out, because I know I can't compete. If you're going to kick it 30 yards, I can't do it.
I mean, I don't know. I've never attempted a field goal.
I think you have to do it with, like, I hold the ball.
No, we're
with my
going to do it.
finger
We're
on.
going to cheat it a little bit. We're going to put it in the orange kicking
So
tee.
if you put it in an orange kicking tee and then you can angle the ball up,
Whatever way
then
you want.
yes, I can probably, I'll say, I'll, what did you say?
I said 35.
What did you say?
30.
36. I can kick a 36
Oh,
yard.
so Steve's going to. All right.
So hold on. Is it 10 yards? I thought it's like not a round number that.
No, it's the end zone's 10 yards.
Yeah, because you do 10 yards and then 15 yards or 5 yards back.
Well, it's 7 yards
Okay.
back too.
Or 17.
But
7
we're going to
yards
kick.
back
I mean,
from the
obviously
zone.
we're not going to hike it. So wherever the
Right.
ball is, so you'd be kicking a
So-
field goal from the 20-yard line.
Oh, that's what it is.
As long
It's
as I
7
can
yards
angle,
back
if,
from the snap.
if you can
Oh,
angle the
okay.
ball up, then yeah, you can get it up. But trying to kick it,
And
like,
if any of our
where somebody puts
listeners,
their finger on the top of it, it's the fucking hardest. You gotta put your foot like really flat.
yeah, we can't do that because
make sure you-
that we're not good enough to not kick somebody's finger. I feel like so I'm not putting my finger down. So I just ordered
I mean,
a
I'll
tee.
put my own.
So
finger
it
down
should
and
be
I wouldn't
here.
get-
It should be here in a couple of days. But so
Oh,
if we
alright.
have any local listeners that actually want to join us
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the contest,
Yeah,
reach out.
Maybe we
and-
could. Oh, let's make a little thing of it. We can go see a train garden, and then we can go kick some footballs.
Yeah, I did get an invite to a train garden.
You didn't go yet?
No, not yet.
All right,
So-
we're gonna need that update when you go.
All right. I'm never gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys.
And the second bit is that we all go to a psychic and have the psychic, and we record the session with our obviously camera. We record the session, go into a psychic, and just see what she says about all of our.
I would like that.
Yeah.
I go to a therapist.
It's kind of like the same thing, except
Yeah.
you do all the talking
Yeah.
and tell her about your past instead of
Yeah.
her telling about your
I
future.
go to a therapist.
You know what?
That's so funny.
I've known you for 20-some years, and it just goes to show you that no matter how long you know someone, you could always learn something new when you hang
Yeah,
out. And I
yeah,
never knew you went to a therapist. Not
I
that
do.
it's bad.
No. It's not. It's. I mean,
Is it a couples counseling therapist?
no. It's just a.
She just
just
told
a
you
me.
you got to work on your own.
It's just me. It's just a me one. So
And how often do you go?
once a week.
Do you lay on the couch? I've never
No.
been to a therapist, so
No,
I
you just
You
talk-
just sit on the couch.
No, it actually nowadays it's like a Zoom.
Oh, Zoom, through
It's a
Zoom.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So
See, if I would go, I would want to go. I would want to lay down on the couch. Like actually
yes.
lay down on the couch.
I would prefer to lay down on the couch.
Is that more
Like,
money?
Well, no, because I kind of want to do like a Tony Soprano thing, and just
Bang the therapist.
No, Tony Soprano never banged the therapist.
Yeah, he did.
Nope. Have you ever watched The Sopranos?
Oh, was it a dream?
It was a dream. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
He never did?
No, he never did.
Are you
What?
sure?
100%.
He
I've
just
watched-
dreamed it. He didn't bang her towards the very end.
No.
I'm even like picturing the scene.
Yeah, you are picturing the scene because it was a dream.
It was a dream. Okay.
There's also fish that talked in it.
In that same dream.
But yeah.
Okay. Hey, so would you say the therapist is a positive thing?
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And was this something that you decided that you were just going to do it, or did you see too many Facebook ads and you just clicked on one day?
No, it was kind of like one of the things that where I was just like, it's a lot going on up in here. So I decided that. Like,
And how long? How many? Like,
It's like Joe's not doing sales anymore, so we can't just talk on the phone all day.
I know. I mean, it's probably been. I mean, surprisingly, it's like only been a couple months.
okay.
Yeah, so it's been since the podcast has been in existence. And have I mentioned the podcast during therapy? Yes. I have. Is that your
check it
next
out.
question? Yeah.
It's what I live for.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And is your therapist a man or a woman?
a woman?
Is same one every time?
Yeah, same one every time. So
And would you think you would feel any differently if it were a man?
So I thought about it because when you sign up to talk to a therapist, they give you the option of, do you want to talk about, they give you the option if you want to do a man or a woman.
Okay.
And to be honest, like I thought therapy was a joke. I'm like, I'll try it out to get my head straight. But yeah, so I just talk to a lady every week.
Right, but
So,
what the question is, when you found out it was a woman
yeah.
instead of a man, did you feel like, oh, cool? Were you neutral, or were you like, I think I'd rather talk to a man? Do you know what I mean?
Part
Like,
of me wanted to talk to a man.
Okay, all right.
So part of me wanted to talk to a man, but I just figured I don't know what this.
You're going in blind, so
yeah. So it goes in blind. So it's just like, you know what? I'll just give it a shot. Whoever they suggest, I'll just go with it. And then if I don't like it, I don't like it. So that's
And it's once a week.
yeah,
Or-
once a week,
And for how long? What's the session?
an hour.
Okay.
It are you working on stopping the butt hair plucking, or is that not a topic?
Kind of like how my bird, when it's stressed out, will pluck the feathers.
Which makes me laugh is because I've told more about myself since I started it. I told her that I wanted to stop plucking butt hairs.
Nuh-uh.
No. She doesn't
Because
know
you don't
about
want to
that.
stop.
Yeah.
No, I'm like genuinely interested because that's just never been something that I've thought about doing, whether I need it or not. I don't know. I just one of those things of like,
You know how it's like sometimes I didn't know how to like identify anxiety. Like I didn't know what anxiety was, like how I think about things, and like it was basically like since talking to this person I can identify things that put me in a situation where I say or act or do something that I would normally not do. I'm trying to like jump
well, because
around.
the flight or
I'm not trying to
flight kicks in.
I'm not trying to like say exactly what it is. It's just
You
that-
recognize your ticks when things like that
Kinda,
set you
yeah.
off. Your triggers.
Yeah,
and
like you
things.
kind of recognize your ticks and things that you do where you're just like, oh, why would I do that? And what's funny is that while I'm doing it, I realize that I say shit like, well, she would say something about, whatever. And I'm like, well, I can't be that straight. I'm in fucking therapy. And then she'll laugh and be like, well, everyone should be in therapy, which is probably true. Like it probably just, it gives you an hour to focus on yourself, where you can just say whatever the fuck you want.
Right, they're just a sounding board that you
Yeah.
leave the office or you shut off the Zoom, and you're like, who cares what the fuck they think about
Yeah,
it? You
you're
know
like,
what I mean?
all it
Whereas
is you
if you
build
tell it to
upon
me,
it.
I'm going to judge you.
And then
or
like
whatever.
she'll send me stuff, like email me things that will be like, look, you should identify like this issue while you're in a conversation with people, and how you deal with it. And then I'll look at it, and it's fucking like it's categorized with it's something exactly what I do. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just
Anything
crazy.
that you've applied to the way you are on the podcast?
This is a safe space.
It is a
Yeah,
safe space. It's just
no.
the three of us.
So you made the first appointment.
I did
and-
not know this episode was going to go this way.
I mean, some are funny and some are not, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think a lot of people are interested in it. I'm kind of interested because I've never done it. So you made your first appointment,
Uh-huh.
and how does an appointment go? Is it structured? So you Zoom, hey, how's it going? You do the pleasantries, and then you just start from whatever pops up, or is it
So-
structured?
It's my scenario is it's basically she'll say whatever you feel like talking about, like we'll just kind of roll with that because that's what's bothering you at the moment, or that's what you want to talk about at the moment. So
Right.
that's what's most important to you. So it's not like recapping on where we were last week, but it's kind of like that which is funny because you'll realize that the shit you said last week and the shit you said this week, they correlate to each other, and they are very similar, and it's just certain things that just
So she'll be like, you're not learning what we're talking. Steve.
no,
You
it's
gotta
more
take
like
it.
Did you hear anything when I said, Steve?
I know. Well, no. It's just more like realizing that things that you do that, you know,
Defense mechanisms and things, or
Yeah. Like I'll just say, like, I'll have whole scenarios in my head where I'll plot out what a person says, where I'll avoid the conversation because
What you
Because
think
you've
the
already
other
had the
person-
conversation.
because I've already had the conversation in my head. You know what I mean? Like, and it'll be like, you know, I mean, just say, for instance, like, all right, say we're going to go to the movies on Friday, and then I just have to plan out a babysitter. All right. I will think in my mind what the babysitter is going to say, and I'll just be like, oh, well, they're going to say this. I don't want to interrupt them doing that. They're probably busy. And I will have this whole scenario put out into my head to where I don't even ask because I already know the answer when that's not really the answer.
Right.
So it's just a weird like avoidance kind of thing. So it was like one of the things that like I just like identified with.
But I feel like, see, I do that too, but not on a negative aspect. I have the conversations and I learned
you're
a little
prepared.
in a way. If I want to get from point A to point B, whatever it is, whether I want to sell you something, if I want to do something, I'll have the conversation, and whatever you say that I don't like, I'll figure out the rebuttal for that and figure out a way to lead you down a different road. And
Well,
then I'll
yeah.
have that conversation and figure out how to lead you down the
But-
road
But
that I want to
but
get
this
to.
is before
Mind
I
if I
even had the
take my tie
conversation.
off?
Mind if I put on 2 ties?
That might have been the best thing I've ever said on this.
But I think that's a natural thing for humans to do. And the fact that you do it a lot is good, in my opinion, because you just have to use it in a way to your advantage. Not in your way, you're using it to your disadvantage because you're already saying, like, I'm interrupting that person's life and
Jim
they're
is
not going to like it.
1,000% billing your insurance for this, by the way.
Yeah. Now, are you saying that like before you even because this happens before I even have the conversation with the person?
But, and
You're thinking of rebuttal, like you're thinking of objections before you're even.
I've already know that I'm going to get what I want before we have the conversation.
Well, you know what? I probably should do that, but sometimes I just like it makes me delay the conversation, and then I'll wait till the conversation is a last minute kind of thing, and then it like ends up.
So
becoming
you're
a big
just stopping
scenario.
at the rebuttal. So you're thinking, oh, they're going to say no. I'm going to stop. When you think they're going to say no, you got to figure out why they're saying no.
Yeah, which is really funny because when I worked in sales, I was so good at overcoming objections.
Right.
I was so fucking good at
Because
it.
you use the shit out of your clipboard.
Yeah.
The fucking clip. God.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was so good at it, but
So now it's the same way. Like, okay, they're going to say no. Why are they saying no? Oh, they don't have time, or they just watch the kids, or money, or whatever it is, and then you just go, you take them down the other road.
Yeah, like it's something so stupid as in when I mean, just say like I was going to ask you to play golf. All right.
Why would you not ask me to play golf? I don't do anything.
Because you're probably busy that day. You might
I'm
have
never
asked-
busy.
But no, in my head, I know this. But in my head, for some reason, I'll do it, and it'll make me not ask.
So you have a fear of rejection.
I think that's kind of what it is. So I always want to be.
You don't want somebody not like you.
Yeah, I think.
And
that's
rejection
kind of
seems.
I think that's what
but
it kind of
but
is.
see, it's actually the opposite. By me rejecting you, it's because I like you. A lot of times, people won't say anything mean to someone because they don't know them enough to be mean to them. If that makes sense.
I get it.
So, like, if I were like, "No, fuck off, Steve. I'm fucking busy," it's only because we're friends.
It's so weird because I completely understand that, and I get it 100%. And I'll do the same exact thing to somebody else. But it is just like in my head, it's like a mental barrier that I have trouble breaking through.
It's funny because he never actually proposed to Stephanie. He was like, so you wear this now.
I did.
It's
She
on your
asked him.
finger.
Yeah. One day she just woke up and then it was on her finger, and I was like, "Congratulations!"
That was such a nice conversation we had.
No, but it's just funny because it's not everything, but there are like some things where it just goes off the deep end. So I just decided that it hinders me into what I can do. So I just decided to get help with it.
All right, I'm hard pivot.
Can I before you
please,
hard pivot? Can I
yes.
just say one
hard
thing
pivot.
Yeah.
off? It was an interesting conversation when you said like the proposal, right? Do you remember? My old boss my old manager at T-Mobile, she had the worst proposal that I've ever heard, ever. She woke up, she was late for work, and her then boyfriend was in bed and was, "Oh, by the way, you want to get married?" And before she walked out the door, he just handed her the box.
Oof.
Like,
That's tough.
like in the morning before going to work, like nothing special.
Oh, that's
And I
tough.
thought, man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Like, even as a guy who doesn't give a shit about proposals,
I
like,
mean, I don't
ooh,
think- I
that
don't
was
think-
a tough one.
I don't think my proposal was anything like spectacular.
What was your proposal?
As she was getting out of bed in the morning.
He threw the ring at her.
We were just sitting on the couch while like watching a movie, and I was just like,
Really?
yeah. It was more of like our kind of thing. Like we like to do that, like just sit around and watch a movie or whatever. At one point, and then I was just like,
But that was your plan? Or you were just carrying it around for months?
no. So I actually we went on a cruise, and we were gonna we went to like Universal and things like that.
Right.
And I thought about doing it on the cruise, and I was like, this is so fucking corny. If I
'Cause-
say it, she's going to say no. And then
Then it's going to ruin our trip.
it's going to ruin our trip. And then I'll just have to sit here. But no, I just decided that, yeah, I was like, it's so fucking fake. I mean, maybe she did want like a grand thing. I was butt nervous doing it, and I had the ring upside down. Even it was just us in our like living room
Right.
or whatever. That's kind of our relationship
That's
kind of
the
thing.
vibe,
So
yeah.
so that's the vibe, and then
Yeah.
that's how I rolled with it.
I proposed to Nicole on the beach, and I was super nervous. And I
It was in the middle of a heart made of
Oh
seashells.
no! I try to do things at least amount
He was
of
like,
corny.
hey, Scopes guy, you're going to want to get over here for this one.
But I asked her. Well, in the moment, I was like, "Do I got to get down on one knee?" And she's like, "No, you don't have to." So that was fine. But when
You
I was
asked her like right before you were gonna do it.
no, I said, I can't tell you the verbatim, but I didn't think about other people being around And that threw me way off because I hate to be in the center of the tension. So like we're walking down the beach, I'm like, oh shit, it's like everybody is sitting on the beach still. So no matter where I go, there's just people.
Yeah.
So we finally stopped, and I think she probably knew it was coming. So I pulled out the ring, and then I'm like, do I gotta get down on my knee? She was like, no. I was like, all right, cool. So then we did it. So but that's her running joke that I didn't get down on my knee. That's whatever. But I still feel like I did it on the beach. Like I made an effort. I planned it out.
Nice.
But
there was a
Joe,
guy.
you want to tell us your purpose?
I mean, I can.
Yeah.
So, when I didn't have a job, or when I was in between jobs,
Hold off.
What?
Is Joe's gonna be?
It's gonna be better than both of yours.
No.
Joe's
Joe's is a big bit. Joe. Big
Yes.
huzzah.
No,
Guarantee
not a big
huzzah.
huzzah.
Joe
It's not a
is
big
over
huzzah.
the top. He likes
It's not.
Christmas so much that anybody who loves Christmas that much would have to do
It's
an
probably
over-the-top
like you
proposal.
put it in a box inside of a box inside of a box
No.
inside of a box.
When I was between jobs, like it was for like a Valentine's Day or birthday or something, I got her this vase. It was like painted and had sunflowers and stuff on it, and I got like a ton of different note cards. There were these pink note cards and yellow envelopes, and I wrote just nice things on them, like romantic quotes or nice things or things we used to say to each other. And I sealed them up and I gave it to her and I said, this is your gift for whatever this is. Like, just open one every now and again, like every week or whatever. There was a ton of them, and I saved one of the cards just in case, because like I kind of thought about the future of it. And then on Christmas Eve morning, I was like, you haven't opened up one of your cards in a while, have you? And she was like, no. I was like, you want me to go grab one for you? She was like, yeah. So I went upstairs and I grabbed the one that I wrote, "Will you marry me?" on it. I brought it down to her and I gave it to her, and she opened it up and she was like,
Oh,
Nice.
taking it back.
it's the long game on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's a long bit with it.
And just in case you wanted to bail out, you didn't put that card in the vase.
I didn't want to be caught off guard
A
with
little insurance.
it. Right.
What if he did? He's like, one day I gotta always be ready.
Right,
Like
right.
ready to pull this shit out. So how'd that work out?
He's got two beautiful children.
Right.
Sorry, you gotta.
I mean, we did get married.
Yeah. God, the entire time I was thinking, I was like, it's so many things I want to say.
In due time. So hard pivot.
Hard pivot. So I learned something about my stepsister-in-law that would drive you bonkers. And it was something you said when you were talking earlier that reminded me of this. When she watches movies, she cannot wait until the end to find out what happens. So in the middle of the movie, she'll Google what happens for the rest of the movie.
So I won't say I haven't done that in my life.
Are you serious?
Yes, I have. Sometimes I'll watch a movie and I know I'm not gonna. I'm like, this movie kind of sucks,
That's different.
and
So just turn it off.
and I may not get to. But so then when I get to the end of it, or before, like if I'm going to turn it off, I'm like, I might as well just look up how it ended.
But that's
Okay,
a little different.
Yeah, that's different.
Not
no,
an
this
active
is
movie that you are going to finish.
This is a movie that she is enjoying.
No.
Oh yeah, the movie she's
What's the
doing.
point
do
of
that.
watching a
That's
movie?
what I said. She was like, I don't know. That's just what I do.
I think she's an alien.
I do too.
God, that's so weird. Have you guys ever cried at a movie?
Oh yeah.
Now, do you call yourself out for crying?
What do you mean?
You're like, God damn it, I can't believe I'm fucking crying.
No.
You know? So you know how actors cry on obviously.
Yeah.
And some actors are like,
Show us, actor.
I'm going to get to that. So I used to think that the mark of a good actor is, can they cry on cue? And I've learned that that's not of any caliber whether you can cry on cue. And I started thinking about it because you could take 20, maybe 30 takes of a scene. You might be able to cry on like the first scene or the first take, but no fucking way that you can cry 15, 20 takes in a row.
Right.
So I did a little Google, like, how do you cry on cue? Because maybe one day I might be lucky enough to be in a bit where I got to cry.
The
It's-
drops
it's
or
a-
what?
No, it's a cry stick.
Oh, what is it? What is it made out of? Onions or something?
It looks like a lipstick, and it's clear, and you just put it on your eyes, and it's menthol. And it takes 30 seconds. It's a wax, and the wax will melt at skin temperature. And the menthol goes into your eyes, and you cry. I just bought it. And
Can we use it?
When I got it for a bit.
Our next recording, can you just ugly cry the entire
Yeah,
time?
all of us can do it.
I'll do it. I'll put it on my eyes.
Because I'm like, if this works, I mean, that's what people use. So I know it works. But
I just watched Babylon, the movie with like Margot Robbie or whatever.
Right.
And she is like, they're trying to get her to cry, and she's like, you need 1 tear or 2 tears, and she could make herself cry. I was like, that's pretty good. So I tried to make myself cry, and I could.
I did it. I remember I watched. You've seen that movie Into the Wild, where the kid goes up to Alaska, like he graduates college and then immediately goes to Alaska.
He die.
Yeah. So like at the very end of the movie, somebody finds.
Spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah.
That movie's like, oh.
Yeah, the movie's like 15 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes up to the mountain and he eats this poisonous plant, and he realized he ate the poisonous plant. So he like kind of writes a goodbye letter to the world kind of thing, in case somebody doesn't find him before he dies, and somebody finds him. And like in the note, he had written that like he realized, because he wanted to do this whole thing by himself, and he like the note had some like it said something to the effect of like happiness is like can only really be found if you have somebody to share it with. And he did this entire trek that he only ever wanted to be by himself, and he realized at the very end that like you like to be able to enjoy it, you need somebody else to enjoy it with. And I watched it at my ex-girlfriend's parents' house with her parents, and my mom was there also. And we had the lights off, and we turned the lights on, and everybody's just sitting there like, oh, that was a good movie. And I just had tears pouring down my face. I was just like sitting there just like sobbing quietly. And the lights came on. I was like, oh, good.
Have you ever watched a movie with a whole bunch of people like that?
No.
Yeah, I haven't either.
We watched movie in a 40.
Well, so we have watched movies in 40,
I think
but it
watching
wasn't
like a stoner comedy bit with like your
friends don't count.
is
But I'm like
different.
just sitting there with your like your mom, your ex-girlfriend's family, and your ex-girlfriend in the dark. It seems kind of weird to me.
Really?
I don't know if it's weird, but I would say
And then you
it's
cried
rare.
like a bitch.
Like a bitch.
Like a big old bitch.
Yeah, I would say that I would have never wanted to. I've never done it, and I've never wanted to do it.
When you watch a movie with like your parents and there's nudity in it, what did you do growing up?
I don't know if
I've only watched.
Or what has there ever
There's
been
only-
or like a weird scene
I've
that
never
you,
watched a movie other that I can remember. Way back in the day, and I might have been 10. A Fish Called Wanda. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
There must have been some nude scene where she was like maybe topless first. Like it wasn't like a overt sex scene, but
Wasn't she like a hooker or something?
you're thinking of Pretty Woman.
No.
This- Fish Called Wanda, where she was like a mermaid
Oh,
and she had to be kept in the bathtub. Like I'm very dicey on the details of that movie, other than the fact that I remember it because there was a topless scene or something, and I
Okay.
was watching it with my parents, and that was probably one of the most awkward. Like I think I was almost watching it, but acting like I wasn't interested in the movie. Like I was hiding my own eyes in a way to
Yeah.
avoid the awkwardness, although there was no avoiding it at the time, and my dad never said anything. Like. He was probably sleeping on the couch.
It's funny. We were up in the mountains this past weekend, and we watched an episode of the show called The Watcher on Netflix, which is pretty good.
That's not a kid show.
No,
Oh.
after the kids were in bed.
Oh.
And it was me, my brother, his wife, my step siblings, their spouses, my mom and stepdad, and on a small couch was sitting my stepbrother-in-law, my stepsister, and then my stepdad. And then the scene came on like where Jennifer Coolidge was like talking about how she's like getting the good dick, and like my stepsister was like, pretty fun watching this with dad sitting right here next to me.
Yeah, like I remember, God, there's so many. Like I remember watching one movie. I used to leave the room if I knew like a sex scene or something was
Like if
coming
you felt
up.
it brewing.
I felt it, bro.
Yeah, I probably would have done that
this.
too.
I was like, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom and get up and leave just because I was like, I'm not trying to watch this with my parents. And I remember one time I watched this movie with like my uncles and my grandparents when I was little. It's called The Last Temptation of Christ.
Oh,
Have you ever heard of that movie?
I mean, I feel like I've heard the title, but I couldn't tell you anything about it.
So it's about like what's his name?
Jesus.
Boy, yeah. What's the guy who played the Green Goblin in the Spider-Man movies?
Seth Rogen?
No,
looked like-
Willem Dafoe.
Oh, yeah.
Looked like a skinny Seth Rogen.
Willem Dafoe is in it, and then he's Jesus.
Isn't there like no words in it?
No. You're thinking
Oh,
of
the
another
Passion of the
Passion
Christ.
Christ.
That's
The Last Temptation of Christ is if it's directed by Martin Scorsese. All right, and it's about like if Jesus decided that like he's on this cross and he's like, I want to get the fuck off this thing, and he like asked to get off of it. And it was like Jesus banging all these people and stuff like that. And I'm watching it with like my grandma and my uncles, and I'm just like,
Is this your grandma that was married to a priest?
No.
Oh, okay, the other one.
And and my grandfather's there, and it's just like, and I'm like 10 years old, and I'm like this. What the hell is this all about? And how it like traumatized me to this day because it's just Jesus banging all these people in it. So it's so fucking weird.
Really taking Jesus fucking Christ to the next level.
Which is
Oh,
why you're in therapy.
It probably is.
And it all comes full
It all
circle.
goes full circle. All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening for another week and watching our reels and stuff. And yeah, follow us on
Reviews. Give
Reviews.
us
Leave us reviews.
We got a shit ton of reviews, so can we keep it going?
Tell a friend.
Thank you for all the reviews so far.
Yeah.
It really, every time you leave a review,
An angel gets its wings.
Joe doesn't beat a puppy.
All right. For the Jim Joe Steve Show, my name's Joe.
I'm Jim.
I'm Steve.
And we'll talk to you next week.
I need help. It's so cold outside and I'm going through hell. I don't feel alive, sometimes I can't tell. Cause every day I try, but I think I need help. Maybe if I fight, one day I'll be well. Want someone by my side, but I'm stuck in my shell. Want someone to rely on, but everyone's selfish, helpless, so damn jealous. And I just wish I never